Hi, I'm Sylvia. Today we're going to do about a 30-minute video. This video will be nice if you are new to yoga, or if you have any health issues, or if you are very experienced yogi but looking to practice some of the foundations of yoga. So we will be exploring some poses today to move the spine around and to look at new ways of moving, possibly. A little bit of breathing and a Hasta Mudra, or a hand gesture, to help us find some focus and concentration, train the brain. And then we'll do some Yoga Nidra at the very end. So today it would be helpful, depending on what you are comfortable with. It will be nice to maybe have a chair to sit on. You don't have to do these poses from a chair, but if you have tightness in the hips, you may find that a chair would be very helpful. I have this really neato stool, but you do not have to have a stool like this. It can be a chair. I do suggest finding something that is stable and something that you can sit on and sit on the edge on. You may even need some blankets to get yourself up a little higher. We'll go through that a little bit later. But you want something that's not going to hurt your bottom, but something that's fairly hard, so you're not sinking down into it like the cushion of a couch or something like that. You might want some blocks, maybe a strap for Shavasana. We won't be using those for the poses during our practice, but if you like to have those kinds of things for Shavasana, feel free to have it. We won't be going through it today in this video. You may find it helpful to have a blanket or a bolster for Shavasana. So when you're ready, we'll find a comfortable seated position. Today we are going to go into detail on how to find the best seated position. If you already know how to do that, feel free to just pop right into it and start tuning in. If you are not sure, then we are going to run through that. So the first things first, we are aiming to have our hips, that bony front part of that hips, the ASIS, that little bony part, if you can find that on the front of the hips, it can be helpful to have your thumbs there and then to bring your hands out from that spot. And just notice if your thighs and your knees are below the hands. So we want the knees and the legs to be below that so that we can let the legs relax. So whether you're seated on a seat or you are on the floor with maybe lots of cushions and blankets to lift your hips up, we just want the hips up above the knees. And then we want the pelvis to be somewhat neutral. So you might even tilt the pelvis back and forth a few times and just try to feel your way into something that feels neutral. So it's very difficult, if you've never done this before, to try to find neutral, and that's okay. What we want is to be able to feel like our legs are relaxed. We want to feel our lower abdominals in particular engaging, not holding tension, but drawing in a little bit. We want to feel that engagement so that we can find foundation in the core rather than pulling with the legs or rounding and slouching and putting all the energy and focus into the neck and the shoulders and the legs. We want that energy to come from the core. So our lower abdominals are gently pulling in and up. And if you can imagine your pelvis like a big bowl full of water, we're not dumping the water out forward and we're not dumping it behind us. So our goal is to not slouch this way and not overextend this way, just finding something that feels neutral. And if you don't have it quite yet, that's okay. Do the best that you can. If it feels like you can't relax the legs or find neutral in the pelvis, it may mean you just need to keep adding blankets or cushions underneath your bottom to help lift you up a little bit more. And often that will help you find a neutral pelvis. So legs relaxed. The hips are above the knees. The pelvis is neutral. And then we're aiming to have the shoulders somewhat over the hips. So we're not leaning too far forward. We're not leaning too far back. Finding a somewhat neutral spine here. And then we want our ears to be somewhat over the shoulders. So we're not pushing our head too far forward, pulling it too far back. And then the chin somewhat parallel to the floor. So we're not dropping our head down too much or lifting it up too much. So more or less chin parallel to the floor. And then we're going to relax the shoulders down. So we're not scrunching our shoulders up to our ears, just letting them relax down. And then you can feel a gentle pull, the shoulder blades pulling in and down the back, just a slight gentle pull so that you can feel like the chest and the shoulders are open. And then you can rest the hands on your thighs or your lap, anywhere that feels comfortable. And then for our purposes today, if you're in a chair, you can have your feet flat on the floor and just let the legs more or less relax. So now we have found our proper seated position. So we're going to take a moment now. I'm going to chant a chant that is meant for good health. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityumukshya Mamritat. You'll find that with chanting, people will have all kinds of different tones and different nuances to this. So you may have heard this chant, but maybe it sounds a little different. But this is the way that my teacher taught me, and I like to honor that. So that is my wish for you, is for good health. So optimal health. The World Health Organization describes the official definition of health as health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmary. So I hope for you that in your endeavors, you are finding optimal health as described in this way. So let's take just a few moments in our comfortable seated position to check in. If you'd like, you can close your eyes, or if you'd like, you can leave the eyes open and then maybe allow the gaze to come down without letting your chin drop. Just let the eyes gaze downward slightly and let them relax. If your eyes are open, just let them fix on one spot, just gently. And whether the eyes are open or closed, you can let the eyes relax in the skull. And just take a little time here to notice all the sensations, physical sensations, the sensation of the breath, your thoughts. Whatever comes up for you, just notice as an observer. Notice if you have tension or if you're relaxed. Notice what it feels like to sit in this particular way, being engaged, but not holding tension. Maybe even spending just a little time thinking about how you ate or how you slept in the last day or two or week, and perhaps noticing if that's affecting you in any way now. And as we move through our practice today, I'll just invite you to be very patient with yourself. Do whatever you have time for today. Allow yourself to gain a little mastery in these poses, the breath work, the meditations. Go at your own pace. Do what's right for your body in this moment. Pause the video whenever you would like. When you feel ready, if your eyes were closed, you can slowly open them. If your gaze was down, you can lift the gaze. We're going to do Ushas Mudra. Ushas means dawn. So this is a mudra for new possibilities, new beginnings. So we'll take the hands. The left hand is going to go on the bottom, and we're just going to loosely interlace the fingers like this. And then we're going to rest the pinkies just below the belly button. And if that's not comfortable, maybe just allow the hands to rest on the lap. We're still in our comfortable seated position. The belly's still slightly engaged, and the chest and the heart are open. And then here, if you would like, you can close the eyes. Or again, you can keep the eyes open, but maybe just bring the gaze down and let your eyes rest on one spot. And take a moment to visualize your optimal health. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Use all of your senses. What would you be doing if you felt like you were in optimal health? Take as long as you would like here, visualizing your optimal health. And when you're ready, I invite you to set the intention to be open to new possibilities. As we move through our physical postures, maybe being open to new ways of moving, even if it's very subtle. Maybe you have done the poses that we're about to do before. Maybe you've done them many times. But perhaps today it feels different. Perhaps you tap into these poses on a more subtle level. And if these poses are brand new to you, perhaps just being open to listening to your body as you move through these poses only goes so far as it feels good in your body. Be wise, be mindful. If you would like, you can have a mantra today or something you tell yourself in your mind. If you would like, you can use the following mantra. I visualize a new dawn of perfect health. If you'd like to come up with your own mantra, feel free. Maybe it's something shorter, more simple, like optimal health or health and happiness, or being open to new possibilities. When you're ready, gently release this mudra. Let your arms relax. You can slowly open your eyes or lift your gaze. So we're going to do a little breathing practice, still in our comfortable seated position. Hopefully it's still comfortable for you. So this is what we're going to call the ah breath. As you inhale, pull your shoulders up towards your ears. And then as you exhale, we're going to sigh and let the shoulders drop down. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, sigh, and release. And do that a couple times. Moving at your own time, your own pace. And just take note. What do you feel as you do this? Can you feel your body detoxing as you breathe like this? Do you feel your body relaxing or releasing tension? Let's do one more. Good. So now we'll move on to some movement, the asana, the physical postures. So we're going to continue to be in our comfortable seated position as the foundation. And we're just going to take a moment to pay particular attention to feeling grounded. Feel grounded through the feet. Your feet are planted on the floor. Feel those sensations. And feel grounded through your bottom into the chair that you're sitting on. So you feel fully stable and grounded. We're going to continue to engage the abdominals, and we're going to move through seated cat and cow. So first, we're going to look at the mechanics of the pose, and then we're going to combine it with breath. We're going to keep the belly engaged, and then we're going to slowly lean forward just a little bit and lift through the heart, like the center of your heart is moving forward and up. And then we're going to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. The shoulder blades pull together and down on the back. Belly is still engaged. And we're lifting through the chest. And the tailbone can even lift up a little bit. And if you'd like, you can have your hands on your thighs or on your knees and gently press your hands into your thighs to feel like you can lift the heart more and to feel like you're lengthening the spine a little bit more. The head is going to stay in alignment with the spine, so we're not dropping the head back. The head might lift just a little bit, but that's really because the chest is lifting. So the distance between the chin and the chest actually stays the same. So you should feel an opening across the chest and the shoulders, engagement in the belly, and just a tiny little back bend here. And then as we move into cat pose, so this was cow pose. As we move into cat pose, we're going to keep the belly nicely engaged. Feel as if you're pulling your belly button towards your spine and maybe even in and up like you're tucking your belly button up behind the rib cage. And then we're going to start to round through the spine the opposite direction. And now the chin can come towards the chest to a comfortable degree. And if you'd like, you can press your elbows forward and out to the sides to help open up the back. So you can take a moment to feel a stretch in the shoulder blades and maybe even in the low back, and just feel the opposite movement of what we just did in cow pose. So now let's add this with the breath. As you inhale, we'll come up to cow pose, drawing shoulders down, shoulder blades in and down on the back. And then as we enter into cat pose, we'll exhale. Inhale to come up to cow. And exhale to cat. Keep going at your own time and pace. I'm going to turn to the side so that you have another view. Inhaling to cow. Exhale, cat. As best as you can, we're going to try to keep the movement smooth and keep the breath smooth. Nice and slow and steady, and just allowing the spine to move back and forth between cat and cow. You should not feel any pain or discomfort No pinching, no sharp pains of any kind. You might feel that parts of your body are moving that maybe haven't moved in this way in a while or ever. So maybe things feel a little stiff. Maybe it feels like a little stretching. And all of that is okay, but no discomfort. The back should be happy. Your neck should be happy. Everything should be happy. You might find that after a couple rounds, your body starts to warm up, and you might find that you want to go deeper. Your body's inviting you to go deeper. But there's no need to. It's only if the body is inviting you to. Let's do one more. Inhaling up to cow. Exhaling to cat. And then come back to neutral. Good. So now we're going to do a seated side bend. The hands can kind of do whatever you want them to do. So one option is we'll take the right hand and bring it to the right hip. Or another option, you can grab a hold of your chair if that feels good to you. Or it can even stay on the thigh. Any of those options are fine. The left hand, you can bring the hand to the hip, or you can bring the left arm up to the sky with the palm facing to the right. Belly is nicely engaged. And then we're going to engage the obliques on the right side, so these side muscles here. So this is all going to draw in, and we're going to open up the left side of the body. So belly is strong, and we're going to lift up, 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 and then over to the right, almost like you're trying to lift up and over something, like if there was a horse here or something, or another chair, and you're lifting up and over that thing. So the chest is open, shoulder blades are pulling gently in and down on the back. We're opening the chest up in front of us, and maybe even feeling as if we're opening the chest up to the sky. And we'll just keep the head in alignment with the spine, unless that's uncomfortable. And if it feels better, you can just look down. So the right side is active and engaged, the belly is active and engaged, and the left side gets a little opening here. And then we'll get strong on both sides and come back up to center. You can rest the arms for a moment if you'd like. And then we'll bring the left hand to the left hip or the chair, or have it on your thigh. And we'll bring the right arm up to the sky. Belly is nice and strong. We'll engage the left obliques and open up the right side of the body. We'll lift up, 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 and then lean gently over to the left. Chest is open, shoulders are open, gentle engagement, shoulder blades pulling in and down on the back. Head can just stay neutral, or maybe even look down. And then get strong, strong, strong. Come back up to center. Relax the arms for a moment. So if you would like, you can do this with movement with the breath. So maybe inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, side bend. Take an inhale here. Exhale, back up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, open here. Exhale, back up. You can do that as many times as you would like, however many times it feels good. Or you can just stay and hold if you don't want to move that quickly. So take your time with that. And then when you're ready, we'll move on to our seated twist. So feet grounding into the floor, the legs relaxed, belly nice and strong, spine long, chest lifting. We'll engage the belly nice and strongly. And then for now, what we're going to do is bring the hands to the hips. If you have a chair with a back, it may get in your way, and so just move your arms accordingly. But nice long spine. Hands can be on the hips for now, or You can always bring your arms out wide if that's a little easier. And then we're going to draw the right shoulder blade in and down on the back. Keep the belly strong, keep the chest open, and we're just going to start to twist to the right. Look down at your knees, and we're going to try to keep the knees even with each other, which means our hips are more or less staying in place, square in front of you. And so we're getting the twist in the upper back. Shoulders draw down, shoulder blades in and down on the back. And that can be helpful to have the hands on the hips so that you can pull the elbows back and feel that engagement there. And then if you'd like, you can turn your head to the right. Take a breath or two here. And then when you're ready, bring your head back to center. Gently unravel. Find a long, long, long spine here. Engage the belly and twist to the left. Left shoulder blade pulls in and down on the back. The head can follow. Knees, hips as even and square to the front as you can. Just a gentle little twist. So it's a very subtle twist here. We're not cranking ourselves. We're not moving the legs around just to get a twist that looks deeper. We're actually maybe getting less movement, or what looks to be less movement, but you'll be getting a deeper twist and more engagement. When you're ready, draw your head back to center, and then the rest of you. Good. You can take a moment just to move the shoulders around a little bit here if that feels good to you. Good. And then when you're ready, if lying on the ground is not possible for you, you are more than welcome to do Shavasana from the seated position. That's fine. But if you would like, you can make your way to the floor. So if having a blanket underneath your knees or a bolster underneath your knees makes this pose a little bit more comfortable for you, then that is great. If you don't like that, you do not have to. If you have back issues and it's hard to lay down like this, or you have knee issues, it can be helpful to have a blanket or a bolster underneath you. Take a few moments to get comfy here. If you're cold, add on some layers or socks. Put a blanket over yourself, whatever feels good to you here. And then we're going to do a practice called tense and release. So in this, we're going to tense all of our muscles. We're going to squeeze our hands into fists. You can point your toes or flex your feet. We're going to engage the quads, the calves, the belly. You can scrunch your shoulders up to your ears. You can scrunch your face. We're going to get as tensiony as we can, pulling all the muscles, getting everything engaged, and then let everything release. And we'll do that a few times. Move at your own time and your own pace. Tensing everything up. And then release. Tense. And release. And you can do that as many times as you need to until you feel like your body is just ready to relax, to completely melt into the floor. If you'd like, you can close your eyes. And if that's not comfortable to you, you can allow the eyes to be open and find a soft gaze, letting your eyes rest on one point. And take a moment to scan your body, head to toe, fingertip to fingertip. And just notice if you're holding tension anywhere. And if you are, perhaps inviting those areas to relax. We generally hold tension, 1, out of habit, and 2, for protection. So if you notice you're holding tension, if it's out of habit, it might be as simple as inviting that area to relax. If you're holding tension out of protection, you may need to adjust yourself, add some props to help support your body in some way. Or you might need to accept that your body's not ready to let go just yet. And just accept that and let the tension be there and work on it another day. I invite you to stay in Shavasana, in this resting pose, for as long as you have time for, or as long as it feels comfortable for you today. Maybe that's 1 minute, or 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. You can pause the video and rest here for whatever amount of time you have. When you're ready to come out of Shavasana, take a few deep breaths. Maybe start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe taking a nice long stretch. And then maybe bending the knees, maybe moving your props out of the way. And you can gently roll to one side, maybe letting your arms support your head. Pausing. And very slowly and gently coming back up to a comfortable seated position. If it's helpful for you, you can take a moment to find a word or a phrase that encapsulates your experience from this practice today. And if this video was helpful today, then maybe try practicing this mudra or the affirmation or some of the spinal movements that we went through today. And if this was helpful, you might also want to check out our website for more videos. When you feel ready, if you'd like, you can bring your hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra, prayer pose, and take a moment to honor yourself for devoting time to yourself and to your practice. Thank you for being here with me today. Namaste.